Man is naturally born with pleasures to fulfill their desires, desires that has no limitation, and without limitation, it can be abused by anyone. A pleasant morning to each of you. I am Micaella Magday from Towerville National High School and a beneficiary of Samsung Leadership Scholarship Program. But today, please let me stand in the shoes of those little child who seems don't have a power of voice to shout. A voiceless shout that is not enough to hear their plea as they live in their own misery and on the hand of those people who continuously abusing them. Beforehand, let me give you a question. How does people fight poverty? We all know that poverty is one of the major problems in this world. Well, not particularly a problem, but it serves as a main root to all the socio-economical problems that can weaken the vulnerability of an individual. For those people who badly want to stop the chain of poverty will use their own resources even if it is by means of taking a risk of their innocent child, their own flesh of blood, by letting their young body to be exposed in front of a web camera, satisfying the eyes of those pedophiles. And by this, child pornography takes place. Child pornography is defined as a representation of a child engaged in a real or simulated sexual activity or any representation of a sexual parts of a child for sexual purposes. That is according to UNICEF. Child pornography is frequently used by pedophiles. Pedophiles are those people who have a strong sexual urge towards a children to lure its innocent body for sexual purposes. But in how manner should we consider that a child is engaged in this kind of illegal activity? Child pornography involves the transmission, distribution, and production of pornographic material depicting a children, either by means of video photographic format or video format. Also, it is the involuntary participation of a child for the production of sexual pornography. On the other hand, Lotus Silwander, the head of the head of children agencies UNICEF in the Philippines, once stated that child pornography is one of a $1 billion business worldwide. That is why it is closely tied to child prostitution. On the other hand, according to UNICEF, Philippines is the epicenter of this kind of activity, and we are the number one source of global sexual abuse trade. Can you imagine that? We are the number one source of this kind of illegal activity, but we, as a Filipino, doesn't even aware of this kind of issue manifesting our own country. Still, according to UNICEF, Philippines received 7,000 reports of cybercrime per month, where half of which were related to child sexual abuse. Cylinder once described how children in the age of 5 to 13 years old, that young children were obliged to perform in front of a web camera, obliged to strip in front of those camera and satisfying all the eyes, all satisfying the sexual needs of the pedophiles. And by this, they are being paid 150 pesos or equivalent to $3 for a 15-minute session. Cylinder once described that this kind of issue is sad to say it is it is facilitated by their own parent. So to say that we Filipinos, because we have financial problem, we risk the life of those innocent child. And it is to be said that the number one issue for this problem is poverty. Poverty serves as a driver for this issue where many Filipino parents are expecting their children, their siblings, their children's, they are expecting them to give them financial support. Another factor why this kind of problem had bloomed in this country is because of the high level of English proficiency of Filipinos. Philippines, as a fluent in speaking in English, we rank in fourth top 10 worldwide that is very fluent in Filipino, where 90 million of Filipinos can speak this kind of language, which is equivalent to 90% of the whole population. And because of this, they will not be having a barrier in the communication between the client and the facilitator, and they will transmit money for the child to for the children to expose their young body. But then, how should we help those people, those children who is engaged in this activity? There is a law that guarantee the protection of children for this kind of neglect and cruelty. It is the Republic Act number 9775, or also known as the Anti-Child Pornography Act of 2009, where in section 15 of the said article, it is said that any person who is found guilty in a syndicated kind of this activity will have a penalty of reclusion perpetua, or equivalent to 2 million pesos to 5 million pesos of fine. But more than this, the one who is capable to stop this kind of problem is no other than you and me. We, as a future parent of a future generation, we have the power to reach them. We have the power to hear their voice. We have the power to remove them to remove there as they live in their own misery. We, as a future leader, we will prove them that we are the really hope of our nation. So before I end up to finally end up my discussion, I want you to watch a video presenting a youth who used her voice rather to for the awareness of child pornography worldwide. Thank you.
For my Gold Award project, I created a documentary on child pornography. I didn't stop there. I used the documentary as a teaching tool to spread awareness of child pornography to criminal justice and social work students at 3 local universities to me, and I also presented it to the Southeast Pennsylvania Cybercrimes Task Force and to the local bar association for their continuing legal education credits. My first goal, first and foremost, was to make sure that I reached college-age kids, undergraduate students who are going into the field of criminal justice and social work, because they are the ones who will directly in the future have that first access to a victim and to a case of child pornography. It is a growing issue, so they will undoubtedly come across one at some point in their careers. And I wanted to prepare them for those types of issues that they will have to take on in their careers, and I wanted them to really think about how horrible the issue is and motivate them to end it, to end child pornography. Hearing all of the professionals' experiences that they've had in the past with child pornography cases are so powerful and so sad that I didn't want to silence any part of that. Right now, there really isn't a cure or a solution to child pornography, but I think that making people more aware is the first step to eradicating it.